We live? We are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another Readings by Candlelight. I'm your host, Keyth, your man of letters, here to bring you guys knowledge, information, and a bit of entertainment. As per usual, it's going to take a few minutes for us to kick off the live, usually 10 to 15 minutes, and give people a chance to filter in, sit down, roll up some oregano, pour yourself a glass of wine, take your shoes off, and stay a while. So if you're not watching this on the live, feel free to fast forward 10, 15 minutes, or just kick it, hang out, and not do jack shit. Cool. Oh, if you are new, feel free to subscribe to the channel. We do lots of readings like this, do lots of occult topics, paganism and Wicca and shamanism and lucid dreaming and esoteric, occult, philosophical breakdowns and shakedowns, and with a nice, fresh, scientific, reasonable look. You guys like the channel? At least check the channel out if you're not going to subscribe. I appreciate that too. I'm going to check in with the chat now to see who is here. Sorry guys, it's been a hot minute since I've gone on a live. We were out of town. I was busy as hell. I shot a couple of regular videos, which take up like 10 times as much time to make than just going live. So, which did pretty well, actually. I've been meaning to do a follow-up. I'll do a live on the Dr. Sebi plants and things like that, but I wanted to hop back on the Kybalion because it's been a while, and these readings by candlelight are fun, are they not? Whoa, someone named Lilith just started following me on Instagram. All right, where are we? My bad, you guys. My bad, you guys. Give me a sec. All right. Hey. There's a squad in here already. Too sweet. Self-loving goddess. Mush mouth. Trina and Tiana, what it do? Thanks for being here, you guys. Thanks for joining. Thanks for kicking it. Jinx, thanks for joining the squad. All right. Where were we? Skip free trial. No, thank you. Tracy, yo, what up? Namaskar. It goes good, Mushmouth. It goes good. A little tired. But we push. We push ever onward because we're building empires out here. Hope you're doing well. And yeah, lock game strong these days. They're fucking growing hella fast. It's crazy how fast these things are growing. Is he jumping around? Oh.
That's probably just me eating.
Oh. If you guys hear the screams of a baby in the background, it's because there's a screaming baby in the background. So don't be alarmed. Ooh, my Insta is Man of Letters Official. By the way, guys, we're going to start this in a couple minutes. Thanks for sitting tight. If there's someone in the channel who's new to the channel and not used to how we do things here, we're on Caribbean time, and we start late for everything. So we're going to let some more people join, and then we'll start. Feel free to introduce yourself. My name is Keyth. Nice to meet you guys. Ouch. What was I doing? Ooh, the oregano. Where is it? 1 sec, you guys. Yes, Man of Blood is official. It's yeah. Cool. Yeah, join the Instagram. I could do a better job at keeping up with the Instagram, but it's fucking so needy. These social media platforms are all so goddamn needy. All right, I think I got you guys. You just popped up. What up? Avocado? That's funny. Avocados are my fave. Well, they're not my fave, but I do like them a lot. Hey, Alex, are you new? Everyone say hello to Alex. Nice to see you in here. All right, any of you guys know what time it is? Have we hit that marker yet? Who? All right. 6 minutes. 12 people in the room. I guess we can kick it just a couple more minutes. Anyone have any good stories? Anyone had any crazy ass dreams? I had some fucking wild ass dreams the other night. Oh man, I had the strangest, but one of them was one of the coolest dreams I've ever had. It sounds silly when I say it out loud, but I swear in the dream it was pretty amazing. John Smith, what up, man? I was hoping you would join the room. The lives just don't feel the same without you, man. Chakras and chasers. Shira. I'm drinking a Colombian style michelada, which is basically just a Central American beer packed with a shit ton of salt and lime. ERFI Sunshine. Damn, see, this is why we wait. We just got a whole bunch of squadron rolling in last minute. What up, you guys? Nice to see you here. I hope you guys didn't think I was going to say I was drinking something like spirulina water mixed with angel something that's really good for you. Angel something that's really good for you, and different herbs. If hops count as herbs, I'm drinking those. And alcohol, if that's good for you. I don't think that's good for you, but that's how we do out here at Man of Letters. Oh damn! You got a sweater from Too Sweet. What was the sweater? We'll start in just a minute. I'm curious what the sweater you got from her was. Too Sweet's got an Etsy shop. Too Sweet, feel free to what was I saying? Feel free to share your shops and stuff like that, you guys. If you're running anything and you want some promo, by all means, promote yourselves. Collab amongst each other. Keep business in the community so we can all co-create this empire. Two dozen online shops. My God, that's crazy. Yeah, just share your top one. Too Sweet, share your info. I'm pulling up the Kybalion index right now. As soon as I figure this out, we'll kick it. This concise work on the Hermetic philosophy outlines 7 universal principles: mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. Rather than the actual Kybalion, this is purportedly an exegese on that text. While this is probably one of the books which William Walker Atkinson wrote for the Yogi publication, receiving probably birds are closer read the most. Interesting. William Walker Atkinson. We are on what I say, the all in all. Yeah. Self-loving goddess. Sorry, you've been waiting almost 15 minutes to hear your favorite chapter. Thank you for your patience. I really appreciate it. We'll start now. Also, thank you everyone else for being here. Seriously, because you could be anywhere of all the wonderful things in this world you could be doing. You're kicking it with the squad, and I thank you very much for that. And I'm very grateful for that. And yeah, that's it. That's about it. That's all I got. With that being said, and without further ado, this is the Kybalion by a Man of Letters. Chapter 7, The All in All. While all is in the all, it is equally true that the all is in all. To him who truly understands this truth has come great knowledge. The Kybalion. How often have the majority of people heard repeated the statement that their deity, called by many names, was all in all? And how little have they suspected the inner occult truth concealed by these carelessly uttered words? The commonly used expression is a survival of the ancient Hermetic maxim quoted above. As the Kybalion says, to him who truly understands this truth hath come great knowledge. And this being so, let us seek this truth, the understanding of which means so much. In this statement of truth, this Hermetic maxim is concealed one of the greatest philosophical, scientific, and religious truths. Sorry, we got a Middle Eastern flute just going ham in the background. We have given you the Hermetic teaching regarding the mental nature of the universe, the truth that the universe is mental, held in the mind of the all. As the Kybalion says in the passage quoted above, all is in the all. But note also the correlated statement that it is equally true that the all is in all. This apparently contradictory statement is reconcilable under the law of paradox. It is, moreover, an exact Hermetic statement of the relations existing between the all and its mental universe. We have seen how the all is in the all. Now let us examine the other aspect of the subject. The Hermetic teachings are to the effect that the all is immanent in, remaining within, inherent, abiding within its universe, and in every part, particle, unit, or combination. This statement is usually illustrated by the teachers by a reference to the principle of correspondence. The teacher instructs the student to form a mental image of something, a person, an idea, something having a mental form. The favorite example being that of the author or dramatist forming an idea of his characters, or a painter or sculptor forming an image of an ideal that he wishes to express by his art. In each sense, the student will find that while the image has its existence and being solely within his own mind, yet he, the student, author, dramatist, painter, or sculptor, is, in a sense, immanent in, remaining within or abiding within the mental image also. In other words, the entire virtue, life, spirit, or reality in the mental image is derived from the immanent mind of the thinker. Consider this for a moment until the idea is grasped. And what they're basically getting at is you can't create something and not be a part of that something that you're creating. I use this example all the time because the Kybalion used the example, and that's where I got it from. But the example is when Shakespeare created Hamlet. Shakespeare is in each and every one of the characters that he wrote about because it's his emotions, it's his thoughts, it's his experiences put onto paper and breathed life into. Those characters aren't Shakespeare, right? Like Hamlet isn't Shakespeare. If Hamlet were to jump up and down on the pages of the book screaming, I am Shakespeare, that would be ridiculous. It's not, he's fucking Hamlet. But that doesn't mean that he's not pervaded by Shakespeare. And that's basically what it's getting at. Is that the all is in all. I think this is the exact chapter he talks about it, actually. He says, or the three initiates say, to take a modern example, let us say that Othello, Iago, Hamlet, Lear, Richard III existed merely in the mind of Shakespeare at the time of their conception or creation. And yet Shakespeare also existed within each of these characters, giving them their vitality, spirit, and action. Whose is the spirit of the characters that we know as Macabre, Oliver Twist, Uriah Heep? Is it Dickens, or have each of these characters a personal spirit, independent of their creator? And the answer is, of course not. Have the Venus of Medici, the Sistine Madonna, the Apollo Belvedere spirits and reality of their own, or do they represent the spiritual and mental power of their creators? The law of paradox explains that both propositions are true, viewed from the proper viewpoints. Macabre is both Macabre and yet Dickens. And again, while Macabre may be said to be Dickens, yet Dickens is not identical with Macabre. Man, like Macabre, may exclaim, the spirit of my creator is inherent within me, and yet I am not he. How different this from the shocking half-truth so vociferously announced by certain of the half-wise who fill the air with their raucous cries of "I am God." Imagine poor Macabre, or the sneaky Uriah Heep crying "I am Dickens," or some of the lowly clods in one of Shakespeare's plays eloquently announcing that "I am Shakespeare." The all is in the earthworm, and yet the earthworm is far from being the all. And still the wonder remains that through the earthworm exists merely as a lowly thing, created and having its being solely within the mind of the all, yet the all is immanent in the earthworm, and in the particles that go to make up the earthworm. Can there be any greater mystery than this of all in the all, and the all in all? Lots of alls. Um, I'll actually check your guys' comments periodically to see if there's anything particularly pressing that you would like to go over before we continue on. Oh, Flora, you're not that late. We didn't start too much long ago. Cool. So we will continue. I guess some of the things that we have to pull out of this text isn't just what it's saying or what it means by what it's saying, but how that's useful to what it's saying. And that's how it's useful is not something that's blatantly put in this text too much. At least not verbatim or not practically. But again, this book was written in 1911, so how practical can something be written over 100 years ago? But there's a reason for that. The reason is because you can't put something verbatim, because there's so many. How do I say all of that in just a couple of sentences? The Hermetic philosophy has 7 laws, and it only goes over the laws and how they operate. But I believe the reason why there's not specific practical 1 through 10 instructions on, say, how to manifest your reality is because, or how to get like a red car, is because everything changes. Nothing, there's no constant in the universe. The all that we keep hearing over and over again, that is the only constant. But everything that extends from that is in constant flux or change. So to say, how do I earn or how do I buy a house, for example, is going to be very different in the year 1900 from 1950 to 2000 to 2020, right? Things are always changing. So it doesn't make sense to say, this is how you do something verbatim. We have to read texts like these and we have to pull the absolute fundamental truth, because once we know the underlying mechanics of something, it doesn't matter what situation we are in, we can always figure out, or we can always at least have a very accurate prediction of the future. We can say, okay, these things are happening right now, and because I know the way of things and I know the patterns of things, I can almost tell you what things are going to be like in 10 years. And it's almost like when you understand something like the Hermetic philosophy, it's almost like you can see the future, because you're not seeing the future, you're just seeing the patterns of things, and you're going, okay, if the pattern stays this way, this is exactly how the world's going to be. If my habits stay this way, this is exactly how my world is going to be in 5 years. Like, if you gave me your closest friends, your favorite TV shows, your favorite things to read and like your top 2 or even 1 website. If you gave me those things, I could figure out exactly where you're going to be in 5 years. Or even if you gave me your favorite, like your number 1 go-to website or off-duty thing. If you're good enough, that's all it takes for you to figure someone out. Because again, we see patterns and we learn how people work. We learn how ourselves work. We learn how the mind works. Sorry, I'm just fucking rabbit holing now. We will carry on. Let's see. Where did we leave off? The student will, of course, realize that the illustrator, yada, yada, yada. Okay. The student will, of course, realize that the illustrations given above are necessarily imperfect and inadequate, for they represent the creation of mental images in finite minds, while the universe is a creation of infinite mind. And the difference between the 2 poles separates them. And yet it is merely a matter of degree. The same principle is in operation. The principle of correspondence manifests in each, as above, so below. As below, so above. So the difference between the all and us, the all creates with the mind, we create with the mind. We, however, create with a finite mind. The all creates with an infinite mind. And even beyond that, because even the infinite itself is an extension of the all. So, shit's fucking... Anywho. And in the degree that man realizes the existence of the indwelling spirit immanent within his being, so will he rise in the spiritual scale of life. This is what spiritual development means: the recognition, realization, and manifestation of the spirit within us. Try to remember this last definition, that of spiritual development. It contains the truth or true religion. There are many planes of being, many subplanes of life, many degrees of existence in the universe, and all depend upon the advancement of beings in the scale, of which scale the lowest point is the grossest matter, the highest being separated only by the thinnest division from the spirit of the all. And upward and onward along this scale of life, everything is moving. All are on the path, whose end is the all. The progress is a returning home. All is upward and onward, in spite of all seemingly contradictory appearances. Such is the message of the illumined. That's a really well written paragraph. We'll just keep going. We can't even say anything on that. The Hermetic teachings concerned the process of the mental creation of the universe. Are that at the beginning of the creative cycle, the all, in its aspect of being, projects its will toward its aspects of becoming, and the process of creation begins. It is taught that the process consists of the lowering of vibration until a very low degree of vibratory energy is reached, at which point the grossest possible form of matter is manifested. So it's saying the all has a thought, boom, projects the will, which is the masculine side, projects its will out into the thing that the all is projecting into is the void, right? That's the feminine. That's the thing that gives birth. So the masculine projects the information, and then the feminine receives the information and then creates from that creation, from the void, from the chaos, you could call it. The undefined, right? Okay, where was I? This process is called involution, in which the all becomes involved or wrapped up in its creation. This process is believed by the Hermetics to have a correspondence to the mental process of an artist, writer, or inventor, who becomes so wrapped up in his mental creation as to almost forget his own existence. and who, for the time being, almost lives in his creation. If instead of wrapped we use the word rapt, spelled R-A-P-T, perhaps we will give a better idea of what is meant. This involuntary stage of creation is sometimes called the outpouring of the divine energy, just as the evolutionary state is called the indrawing. The extreme pole of the creative process is considered to be the furthest removed from the all, while the beginning of the evolutionary stage is regarded as the beginning of the return swing of the pendulum of rhythm, a coming home idea being held in all of the Hermetic teachings. The teachings are that during the outpouring, which is when the original projection of mind, the vibrations become lower and lower until finally the urge ceases and the return swing begins. But there is this difference, that while in the outpouring the creative forces manifest compactly and as a whole, yet from the beginning of the evolutionary or indrawing stage, there is manifested the law of individualization. That is, the tendency to separate into units of force, so that finally that which left the all is unindividualized energy returns to its source as countless highly developed units of life, having risen higher and higher in the scale by means of physical, mental, and spiritual evolution. Holy shit, that's so what it just described was the ego. This is a very nuts and bolts description of the ego without the jargon of good or bad or what it's supposed to do or just all the baggage that the word ego comes with. This is why I love the Kybalion so much. It's no fucking baggage, it's no connotations, it's no semantics, it's not subjective to different races or creeds. It's just mechanics, which is nice in a world that's completely off of emotions and feelings, because emotions and feelings can be deceiving. But here's where he talks about it in Tennessee. It says, from the beginning of the evolutionary stage, there is manifested the law of individualization, the tendency to separate into units of force. So every time you separate, oneness separates, it turns into an ego. Now, the ego was just a lens. An ego is a lens like the lens that you guys are looking through right now, right? So my camera has an aperture, and the aperture is the opening in the lens. And you take a picture, and boom, you have that picture. But as many different lenses as you have are as many different individual experiences you have, because the ego is just the thing that gives you an individualized experience. Not good, not bad. Just a thing that gives you your individual experience. So that's what happened when the all outpours. It tends to separate into units of individualization, and it's pretty cool too. After that, it says, so that finally that which left the all as unindividualized energy returns to its source as countless highly developed units of life, having risen higher and higher in the scale by means of physical, mental, and spiritual evolution, because those are the three planes of existence: mind, body, soul. So we get casted out, and this is one of the teachings of the Kabbalah. Their idea, the Kabbalah has this idea of evil as a necessity. It has evil as a whole. There's a ton of different definitions for evil, but one of my actual favorite was this idea of evil as a necessity. In other words, the reason why evil is a thing is because it must be a thing. And they don't outright say it, but what I kind of pulled from it was, to have a fall from grace, you have to have a fall. Religions describe the fall from grace as like You have the gods, and then they come down to earth and become sullied by the earth. And that's the connotation. That's the negative aspect of the ego, as being sullied by the earth. Whereas the Kybalion's definition of ego is you simply have the all, and it casts its thought into the void that of its own mind and fills it with thoughts. But as it fills the void with thoughts, it becomes individualized matter or individualized units of force. And the goal of those individualized units of force is to work their way back towards the all. And in the process of working back towards the all, they evolve mind, body, and soul. They become more spiritually advanced, more materialistically advanced, more mentally advanced. Um, but those, again, those individualized points are maintained. The individualization is maintained by the ego, because again, what happens when you strip away your ego is you have that sense of all oneness. You're back with the all. You're not yourself anymore, which is a wonderful thing. I'm not hating on that. That's the point. But during the journey, you are as you are for a reason, and you're supposed to enjoy it as much as you can. But by moving forward, not by going backwards, because backwards is the darkness, is more individualization. And as we know, the further from home you get, the darker it gets, and the scarier it gets, and the more cut off you feel, right? Because you start believing in your ego, and forgetting about the source. So that's the dark side of the ego, is when you identify with your lens, but you are not your lens. You are just looking through your lens, which is good to remember. Good to remember. So we'll carry on. The ancient Hermeticists used the word meditation in describing the process of the mental creation of the universe in the mind of the all. The word contemplation also being frequently employed. Well, so meditation and contemplation are the same thing, apparently. But the idea intended seems to be that of the employment of the divine attention. That divine attention isn't mentioned really anywhere else in this book, but it should be, because attention is the name of the game. Attention makes things real. Attention makes things coalesce. Your attention has the ability to solidify pure waveform into matter. And lack of attention returns things to spirit. Things dissolve when you don't give them attention. So the ancient Hermeticists used the word meditation or contemplation, and this text is saying what they really are getting at is attention. So not just meditating, but attention to something. And then it goes on. Attention is a word derived from the Latin root meaning to reach out, to stretch out. And so the act of attention is really a mental reaching out, extension of mental energy, so that the underlying idea is readily understood when we examine into the real meaning of attention. The Hermetic teachings regarding the process of evolution are that the all, having meditated upon the beginning of creation, having thus established the material foundations of the universe, having thought it into existence, then gradually awakens or rouses from its meditation, and in so doing starts into manifestation the process of evolution on the material, mental, and spiritual planes successively and in order. Thus the upward movement begins, and all begins to move spiritward. Holy shit. I don't remember reading that before. Damn, that's pretty neat. I could talk for hours on that last line, but we need to keep going. That might be its whole own other video. I'll read that one more time. Because, hold on. Yeah. Ooh, all right. Thank you. Sounds delicious. I'm gonna read that one more time for you guys. Hold on. Okay, it says that the all, having meditated upon the beginning of the creation, having thus established everything, gradually awakens or rouses from its meditation, and in doing so starts into manifestation the process of evolution. Fuck, I don't. That's. This is. I'm trying to think of a correlation between that phrase in like a movie or anything I've come across before, and it's. I'm drawing a blank, and I'm usually really good at that. But it's almost as if to say that the all has forgotten about us, and it's up to us to get back to it, and until it remembers us again, at least, because the focus coalesces, and when you stop focusing, it returns to spirit. And again, this is shown scientifically in the split cell theory, in quantum physics, where you guys remember that from that show, What the Bleep Do We Know? Where the scientists were looking at a waveform and it turned into particle when they looked at it. So their attention turned the waveform, which is pure potential, into a particle, which was no longer pure potential. It was now what it was, the particle. But if they looked away from the particle, boom, it turned back into pure potential. So the focus turned it into material, and the lack of focus returned it to spirit, and just pure wave energy. And it's saying, interestingly enough, because this was in 1911, that the all does the same thing. When it meditates, which is another word for focusing, contemplating, focusing attention on something into a world, it creates a universe. Us coalesces things or sparks things into existence, into an individualized existence. And then the all snaps out of that dream and back to God knows where. And then we, with that lack of attention, now begin to return to spirit, the upward journey back home, if you will. Fuck. I'm gonna check in on your guys' comments for a second here, because what up, Junior? Son of Earth and Sky. Nice to see you guys here. Michael Fam, you are fam. Everyone say what up to Michael Fam. He's like the true fam. He's got fam in his screen name. Screen name, what up? Shout out to AOL days. Stephanie Ramirez, hello. Hey, John Tango, what up, man? That's so funny. Also, everyone say what up to Stephanie Ramirez. She is new. Now a part of the fam. Nice to have you here. Tell us your name, where you're from, something special about you. Also, I gotta continue. We can't get too sidetracked, you guys, because we're not almost done. We're like 70% of the way through. Okay. All right. Carrying on. Damn, I lost my spot. Yada, yada, yada. Life appears and manifests in higher form. Fuck, I have the hiccups. Okay. Life appears and manifests in higher and higher forms. The mind becomes more and more in evidence. The vibrations constantly becoming higher. Okay. Moving towards source when source forgets about us eventually. Essentially. In short, the entire process of evolution in all its phases begins and proceeds according to the established laws of the indrawing process. All of this occupies eons upon eons of man's time, each eon containing countless millions of years. Yet the illumined informed us that the entire creation, including the involution and evolution of a universe, is but as the twinkle of an eye to the all. At the end of countless cycles of eons of time, the all withdraws its attention, its contemplation and meditation, for the great work is finished, and all is withdrawn into the all, from which it emerged. But mystery of mysteries, the spirit of each soul is not annihilated, but is infinitely expanded. The created and the creator are merged. Such is the report of the illumined. The above illustration of the meditation and subsequent awakening from meditation of the all is, of course, but an attempt of the teachers to describe the infinite process by a finite example. And yet, as above, so below. The difference is merely in degree. And just as the all arouses itself from the meditation upon the universe, so does man in time cease from manifesting upon the material plane, and withdraws himself more and more into the indwelling spirit, which is indeed the divine ego. There is one more matter of which we desire to speak in this lesson, and that comes very near to an invasion of the metaphysical field of speculation, although our purpose is merely to show the futility of such speculation. We allude to the question which inevitably comes to the mind of all thinkers who have ventured to seek the truth. The question is, why does the all create universes? The question may be asked in different forms, but the above is the gist of the inquiry. Why am I here? Why do we exist? In other words, same shit. Men have striven hard to answer this question, but still there is no answer worthy of the name. Some have imagined that the all had something to gain by it, but this is absurd, for what could the all gain that it did not already possess? Others have sought the answer in the idea that the all wished something to love, and others that it created for pleasure, or amusement, or because it was lonely, or to manifest its power. All puerile explanations and ideas belonging to the childish period of thought. Others have sought to explain the mystery by assuming that the all found itself compelled to create by reason of its own internal nature, its creative instinct. This idea is in advance of the others, but its weak point lies in the idea that the all being compelled by anything internal or external. If its internal nature or creative instinct compelled it to do anything, then the internal nature or the creative instinct would be the absolute instead of the all, right? The all is the absolute. Instead, the all, and so accordingly, that part of the proposition falls. And yet the all does create and manifest, and seems to find some kind of satisfaction in doing so. It is difficult to escape the conclusion that in some infinite degree it must have what would correspond to an inner nature or creative instinct in man, with correspondingly infinite desire and will. It could not act unless it willed to act, and it would not will to act unless it desired to act, and it would not desire to act unless it obtained some satisfaction thereby. And all of these things would belong to an inner nature, and might be postulated as existing according to the law of correspondence. But still, we prefer to think of the all as acting entirely free from any influence, internal as well as external. That is the problem which lies at the root of difficulty, and the difficulty that lies at the root of the problem. And the problem is, why does the all do what it does? We don't know that. It can't be driven by anything internal, because that internal force would be the all. And it can't be driven by anything external, because for the all to be driven by anything outside of itself would be to say that that thing that's doing the driving is the all itself. So if we're already at the all, we can't go further into the all. The all is the all. All right, you guys, we're almost through. We have like 3 more paragraphs to do, and then might get some spaghetti. You're not down. Strictly speaking, there cannot be said to be any reason whatsoever for the all to act, for a reason implies a cause, and the all is above cause and effect, except when it comes to be, except when it wills to become a cause, at which time the principle is set into motion. So you see, basically what we're getting at, you guys, is the all is subject to nothing. So to say that the all acts for any reason is ludicrous. Luda. I've got hoes. I've got hoes in different area codes. Area codes. Hoes. That was the first Luda banger I used to bump when I was in like fucking 7th grade. Singing hoes in different area codes. That fucking bitch. Damn, the things we listen to. Anywho, sidetrack. The all is cause and effect, except yada yada yada. So you see the matter. So you see the matter is unthinkable, just as the all is unknowable, just as we say the all merely is. So we are compelled to say that the all acts because it acts. That's it. It acts because it acts. It's like it just is, right? There's no reason, there's no rhyme or reason, anything. At last, the all is all reason in itself, all law in itself, all action in itself. And it may be said truthfully that the all is its own reason, its own law, its own act, or still further, the all, its reason, its act, its is law, are one and being names for the same exact thing. In the opinion of those who are giving you these present lessons, the answer is locked up in the inner self of the all, along with its secret of being. The law of correspondence, in our opinion, reaches only to that aspect of the all, which may be spoken of as the aspect of becoming. Back of that aspect is the aspect of being, in which all laws are lost in law. All principles merge into principle, and the all principle and being are identical, one and the same. Really fucking confusing, you guys, but just know that basically what it's saying is that the all is all. In not so many words. Therefore, metaphysical speculation on this point is futile. We go into the matter here. Okay, basically what it's saying is stop trying to figure out what the all is, because stop trying to figure out what it is. Stop trying to figure out why it does what it does. You're asking questions that are contrived by a finite mind of an infinite being. So just quit while you're ahead. In conclusion, this is a long chapter, you guys. In conclusion, It may be of interest to our students to learn that while some of the ancient and modern Hermetic teachers have rather inclined in the direction of applying the principle of correspondence to the question with the result of the inner nature conclusion, still the legends have it that Hermes the Great, when asked this question by his advanced students, answered them by pressing his lips tightly together and saying not a word, indicating that there was no answer, or not to ask the question. But then, he may have intended to apply the axiom of his philosophy that the lips of wisdom are closed except to the ears of understanding. Believe that even his advanced students did not possess the understanding which entitled them to the teaching. At any rate, if Hermes possessed the secret, he failed to impart it. And so far as the world is concerned, the lips of Hermes are closed regarding it. And where the great Hermes hesitated to speak, what mortal may dare to teach? So far as the world is concerned, the lips of Hermes are closed regarding the nature of the universe and the all itself. And where the great Hermes hesitated to speak, what mortal may dare to teach? But remember that whatever be the answer to this problem, if indeed there be an answer, the truth remains that while all is in the all, it is equally true that the all is in all. The teaching on this point is emphatic, and we may add the concluding words of the quotation. To him who truly understands this truth hath come great knowledge. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. My name is Keyth, man of Blair's. Knowledge, information, entertainment. I'll be here all week. Please, no flash photography. Thank you guys for coming out. Man, that was so well written. Like, it opened with all that ever needed to be said on the topic, and then went into like 1,500 words of explanation of that. And then at the end of those 1,500 words, it said, I don't have an answer for you. And then just wrapped it back up with the introducing line, which basically summed up everything in 1,500 words all over again, back to the front. And that was, while all is in the all is in all. To him who truly understands this has come great knowledge. That was a good one, you guys. That's some of these are because they're so heavy on the philosophy, are kind of dry and like can be uninteresting. At least they're uninteresting when you compare them to like, I don't know, paganism or shamanism, or any of the Judaic Abrahamic religions, right? With all kinds of like angels and demons and lower mythology and all kinds of weapons and fucking the names of this, and Lucifer descended and light and Toth, and they make for great stories, but you got to realize that they're just stories. Stories that are alluding to a greater truth, and there is an underlying greater truth to everything, to all. There is a substantial reality that doesn't change. It doesn't change name depending what religion you're reading it from. It doesn't change name depending upon what culture you're hearing it from, right? The sun has 1,000 different names. The moon has 1,000 different names. God has 1,000 different names. But again, those things are all changing. They're fleeting. So how can something that changes be real? How can something that's fleeting be real if it's only real some of the time? If it's only real some of the time, then it's a half-truth. And if it's a half-truth, then it's not the substantial reality. It's not the all. And to reiterate, calling it the all isn't saying that there's a God. Go, why I said that weird. There's a God, and it's called the All. It's not that. It's just saying that that's the best thing we can call it. It doesn't have a name. It's not one thing. It's not anything. And as soon as we try to give it a definition, we confine it to one thing, and we negate all the properties of being fucking God, which is everything all at once. So we can't define it. And to try to define it is to be a hamster running forever and dying in the same spot, tired and gaining no ground where it began. So reading something like Kybalion, which is why I think it's gone like fucking 3 chapters now, it's saying the same goddamn thing over and over again. I don't know. The goal is to learn how to use the laws, you guys. And as we just learned in this chapter, my guess is it seems that we are already on the ascent back home because there has been evolution. We've gone from being a planet with no life to being a planet filled with life. So according to this last chapter, the All thinks about something, it coalesces into a universe, it wakes up from its own dream, and the universe now no longer receives attention from the All. Therefore, the individualized matter starts its return journey home, evolving in mind, body, and spirit. And we've been doing that. Like they say, there now is the nicest, safest place to ever be alive as a human. There's less rapes, murders, and warfare. I know the media will have you believe otherwise, but it's been the best time to be alive in like the history of humanity, at least recorded mainstream humanity. But some people will say that we actually have descended, which maybe we could be descending, but I don't know. I don't think we have enough information to know. I think the information that we do have seems to lead us towards an evolution more so than a degradation or gation, I'm not sure. Yeah, that's it. I gotta check you guys' comments, see where you guys are at in the room. Miss Camacho, hello, nice to see you. Oh, damn, Stephanie, you got your own dream journal going? Hell yeah. The dream journal is the move, you guys. If you guys don't have dream journals, you're fucking doing it all wrong. Dark Moon, Earth Angel. Earth Angel, Earth Angel, do 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 do. Would you be mine? Do 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 do. Like dear, will love you all the time. Do 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 do. Great name, by the way. Is inspiration a internal or external force? Son of Earth and Sky asks. Both. To answer your question, both internal and external. Spaghetti is gross. Starwolf, what? Blasphemy. Just had spaghetti for lunch, actually. Yeah, you guys. Inspiration is both external. If you guys have been inspired by a sunset, for example, like inspiration is definitely at points external. As above, so below, you guys. Come on. You guys know this by now. All things are and are not, except for the All. Bree, hello. Nice to have you here. As per usual. Thanks for stopping by. Spaghetti cook-off at the Man of Letters meetup. You guys, I'm traveling to Nolens. We traveling to Nolens in October, actually, over Halloween. So we're talking about doing Man of Letters meetup in Nolens. How do you guys feel about that? We're going 27th through the 1st. October 27th through November 1st. Fuck, we should have came back the 7th the 2nd, because the 1st is what is it? Dia de la Muerto? Something like that. The Mexican Day of the Dead. Polarity. Yeah, you did forget about polarity, my dude. Polarity is thing. Oh, November 2nd is Dia de los Muertos. Shit, we might have to change our plane tickets and come back on the 3rd. Fuck, we didn't get the insurance. Oh, bummer. Maybe we'll just come back. It's a little more Mexican over where I'm from, anyways. Dia de los Muertos will be a little better back home than in New Orleans, anyways. Damn, you guys want to hear a piece of a dream I had the other night? Shit was weird as hell. I was in the snow. A whole bunch of shit happened, but I'm only going to tell you, I guess, what's useful. What the hell am I stepping on? I was driving my car, and I crashed my car into like a icy ass pond. There's snow everywhere. It was frozen, cracked through the ice. Car was sinking in. I wasn't in the car at this point. I was on the road, and I'm explaining this awfully. The vividness of this dream was unlike 99% of my dreams. It was super clear, vivid, and surreal. But it sounds like a cartoon the way I explain it. So, for what it's worth, I call. This is gonna sound silly. I called a Bigfoot to help save my car. He had nothing to do with this dream. This dream could not have been further from Bigfoot. But I was like, Bigfoot, like yelling into the woods, and nothing happens. And I look to the tree next to me, and this is the crispiest, most vivid tree you've ever seen in a dream. This is the crispiest, lucid ass fucking tree. And I look at it, and the branch is being pulled like a lever by an invisible hand, but so smoothly that it seemed as if I wasn't supposed to see it. Like, this is going to be hard to explain, but like it wasn't part of the dream. It was as if I was in my dream and dream stuff was happening, and there was another person outside of my dream watching me dream. And when I called for Bigfoot to help me get my car out of this icy lagoon, they were like, oh, Keyth's asking for something to happen in the dream. Like, we have to make it happen in the dream so that he knows he's dreaming, or so that he stays in the matrix. This isn't part of the dream, by the way. This is how it felt. And then they were like, okay, well, pull the tree lever. So I'm looking at the tree. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why is that tree being pulled down? It was almost like, it felt like the Truman Show. Like the tree was just a prop in my dream, and they were going, oh, Keith's calling for Bigfoot. Let's pull the lever. So, because it's a show, it's Truman Show. It's people working behind the scenes. I mean, like, this is how they work to make shit happen. They're pulling the lever down, but it's actually a tree, and I'm supposed to think it's a tree, but like, oh, fuck, Keyth sees it. Like, damn, he sees us moving. He wasn't supposed to see that. Like, I got the impression I wasn't supposed to see that happening in the dream. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on with that branch, right? So I'm like, okay, Bigfoot didn't hear me. Again, don't know why I asked for Bigfoot. But I looked to my car, and my car is out of the water, and nothing's wet inside. My keyboard and all my music equipment was in the back, which is why I was so bummed out. And it was all dry and working. But Bigfoot, again, was nowhere to be found. I had like 4 dreams that night. I can't remember them. I wrote them down. But how strange is that? How weird is that? I'm like in the woods going, Bigfoot. While I'm yelling his name, I'm thinking to myself, why the fuck am I calling for Bigfoot? This is making absolutely no sense. But there I was, continuing to call for Bigfoot. Weird. Weird, you guys. Infotainment channel. I like that. Infotainment. That was a really loud toot. By the way, you guys, help a brother out. Everyone in the room, press like right now on the video. Go press like so that we can get this so we can build the empire. So I can quit my day job. Also, give me a second. I need to use the restroom. Thank you. Sorry, y'all. Oh, I needed to get a couple bites of spaghetti because I'm hungry as all hell. What's up, mister? What's up, Sir Grunsalab? You guys hear him in the background? At this, baby boy. He gets fussy at night. You know, that's how I feel about your fussy. Also been tooting a lot too. Yeah, Bigfoot may well have been my boy in another life. Good night, Stephanie. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Bigfoot. All right, y'all. I think we're done. Unless you guys have any pressing questions for the group. Oh. This live has just turned into a mukbang. A good old spaghetti mukbang. Yanelise, you missed the whole thing, but hi, how's it going? Welcome. What are you talking about? Throw what in the trash? Chunky, not chunky? Good old spaghetti, eh? Is he awake? He sounds like the doo-doo master right now. Little doo-doo master. All right, you guys, do I have your blessings? We calling it? The new moon seems to be treating me well. However, I feel like all of 2019 has just been a grind, whether it's fucking Mercury direct or Mercury sideways or fucking new moon, full moon, lazy moon, late moon. I'm pretty much just balls to the wall 24/7. So even if the new moon wasn't treating me well, I would still probably be doing just fucking sending it regardless. Which I don't recommend, by the way. You guys should definitely get some chill in your life. I need to organize a little more chill into my days. Because definitely pressing all the time is not a good thing. Oh no, oh, bummer. All right, you bunch of kooks. Oh, did you guys? Who's got the thing? Real quick, who's got the Discord or whatever it is? Tell me what the Discord for the channel is. A spooky mukbang. It's funny.
That's hilarious.
I know. If you only knew. If you only knew. I need to get more spaghetti. This was so good. I didn't even put cheese in here. We don't have to use your server. I'm only asking because people have been reaching out to me asking if there's like a group a group Facebook page or forum where Man of Letters squad is on and sharing dreams. She was asking because she was interested in hearing other people's lucid dream stories, sharing hers, and getting insight on her lucid dreams from like a community. And she came across one of my lucid dreaming videos where someone said they started a Facebook group or something. And I was like, oh shit, yeah, there's a group out there somewhere. Let me get it to you. And she was like, okay, cool, sweet, thanks. And that was like a week ago. But it would be dope if there was a whole spot, particularly with dreaming and things related to the emerald tablets. Well, you know what fucking shit we talk about. So anything related to this would be dope. So it would hold us all more accountable, keep us all a little more connected. Give me really good video topics because I pretty much ran out of video ideas like a year ago, but somehow we pressed through. So all of it's super helpful. I know I fucked up by not putting cheese, but I do it big. When I get my cheese, I get it in block form. I don't do that pre-shaded shit. It dries out the cheese. It doesn't taste good. I didn't have time to go fillet a bunch of cheese, reheat it because I like my cheese melted, and then come back up to the live. It would have been like 5 minutes. You guys would have said, hey, where'd Keyth go? We're in the middle of a live, and he just tipped out and he's fucking shredding cheese and making spaghetti. Like WTF. So I came up without putting cheese in it. No. I don't want to take your guys' discords that you're already using. Did I already say that? We can make a brand new one, or I can make a brand new one. I should have made one a long time ago. It's like poor form on my part. Bad form, Peter. Bad form to not have made one already. So, if there's not one, I'll just make one. How does that sound? What is all that? Rainbow Star Seeder. What up? Whew. All right. Cool. Son of Earth and Sky, shoot me an email. I guess with the info on that, and I'll figure out how to use it. And that's it. Good night, you guys. Thanks for being homies. Thanks for staying here. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for flying Man of Letters. You guys could have picked any other airlines, but you went with us. See you next time. No, but for real, have a good night. Get some sleep. And I'll talk to you guys soon.